If you'd have asked me 5 years ago if I would ever leave the United Kingdom, I would have probably laughed at the idea. So what changed? How did a born and bred Brit that knew nothing about any other country make the big, bold move and leave everything behind? Now, this is not something that I had planned for 5-6 years and made a strategic exit plan. This is just an idea that came to life about 2 years ago. And it's like my eyes that were desensitized to everything around me in the West had finally opened. I started noticing certain things I never noticed before. I started really deeping in where I actually was and how life has been. And I really started to think to myself, is that something that I want my kids to go through? Is that something I want my mum to go through now? And seeing the deterioration of the West rapidly declining, I wanted to get out by any means necessary. So now, for the last year or two, I've been in and out of multiple Muslim countries and have had a good insight on what it's actually like there. So something that is very overlooked in the Muslim countries is the community, the citizens that live there. These are citizens with the same morals, the same beliefs, the same ideology, the same foundations all across the land. Maybe not to the T, but a good foundation. They know what's right, they know what's wrong. And when the citizens of a country know right from wrong, and they come from Islamic backgrounds, which most of these Muslim countries are, there's very rare cases where they're going to go against the grain and do something bad. So the citizens, as a foundation, as a collective, are all on the same page. So say, for example, in the United Kingdom, if something happens in a house and a woman goes out screaming, calling for help, best believe everyone is looking out their window, trying to get their phone, trying to call the police, and no one's actually coming outside to help unless they feel like they're safe. They don't want to put their life at risk. And you call the police is going to be there in about 45 minutes, damage is done, it's finished. So the difference of being in a Muslim country is that, say, if that same woman went outside screaming and asked for help, there would be 50, 60, 70 grown men outside by her side, making sure everything's good, making sure she's okay. And whatever the problem is, they will handle it before the police even come about. And that solidarity between citizens in the Muslim lands is something unrivaled. You can't buy that. That's a core belief us Muslims have. In recent years, if you look around, everyone's got a Ring doorbell. Now, a Ring doorbell realistically should be to see who's there, to leave them a message, to take the post and whatever, tell them to deliver it to your next door neighbours. But we all know that's not the reasons that Ring doorbells are on every door in the UK now. You're in your own house and you're not safe. You don't feel safe, let alone out on the streets, in your own house. And it's not even like that matters, because people out in the UK don't care about these Ring doorbells. If they want to get into your house, they will get into your house. Now let's keep it real. You and your family are one road rage away from ending up in the hospital. One road rage away. You know how crazy that is? Someone will take your life in the West for some road rage because you cut him off or you didn't let him into a space. You think these things exist in a Muslim land. You can't do that there because there's consequences by the police. Not only that, the people have respect. They take care of each other. Your mum, your wife, your child can wear a hijab and she's openly accepted. There's no judgment. There's no consequences. That is the norm. You don't feel a type of way. You don't feel like someone's looking at you. You've got a big beard, walking down the street, and there's 5 other guys looking at you, staring at you. You know what they're thinking. Now, as a grown man, that's completely fine. Your skin is tough over the decades that you spent in the West. But is that feeling something that I would like my son to go through? Feeling like the outcast, feeling like the underdog, feeling unaccepted and looked down upon. So the communities are strong. The people are on the same wave. Everyone knows what's right, what's wrong. The lands are more strict. So the safety is unmatched. Looking back at the West, I can never, ever look at it the same. The amount of toxicity in the country, the amount of dangerous people just roaming the streets. Another main factor is that I know you're very well aware of the weirdos roaming the streets and the agendas that are being pushed. Everything's being normalized and you are some sort of phobic if you're not playing their game. And that's crazy to me. You've got freedom of speech in the West, but you can't say the wrong things and speak out against stuff that they want you to believe. You've got to just bite your tongue and get on with it. And hopefully your kids can decipher the difference of what's right and what's wrong, let alone what you're teaching them at home. They'll go to school for about 8 hours a day and a teacher is telling them the complete opposite 5 days a week. In these Western lands, no such thing as these weirdos walking around. Guys and women just claiming what they want to claim, and you got to roll with it, and they can dress up however they want to dress up. No matter who's around, it doesn't matter because it's their rights. So what happened to your rights? What happened to my rights? So this is something else that I had to take into consideration, how rapidly this whole thing is escalating and how hard they are pushing it out there and pushing it down people's throats. Accept it or you will be penalized and there will be consequences. These are things that you think you can fight. The fight is way bigger than you and too far gone. Whatever narrative these countries want to push out, the agendas that they want to push out, you're not going to stop it. A petition is not going to stop it. A protest is not going to stop it. They could care less. They might throw you a bone here and there, and that's about it. So I'd rather be in a land where this does not exist. It's very simple. The rules are simple. Right, wrong, guy, woman, child. No confusion. Nothing else. There's Westerners that are not on the same page as their countries. They don't want to support the agendas. They don't want to fund certain things that are happening in the world. They want to be safe. They want to live a peaceful life. And they're moving to Muslim lands. Now, in no way, shape or form am I saying that these Muslim countries are perfect. Definitely not. Every country has its pros, its cons, benefits and flaws. But for me personally, the benefits massively outweigh the flaws. And speaking on benefits, there's so many benefits and tax advantages and opportunities because first of all, they're kind of still playing catch up to the West. So you've got so much more experience. You're probably a good 5 to 10 years ahead of them in the ideas that have already been implemented here. So if you could take that opportunity and present it to another country, then you are absolutely golden. There's huge investment opportunities as well. I don't want to work my whole life and grind my butt off to invest in things that when I die, my family members are going to pay huge taxes to inherit. That's mind-blowing. But it's all one big system that they try and keep you in a chokehold for. And a big portion of that check goes to funding things that, as a Muslim, I will not take part in. And if you haven't visited these Muslim lands, I'm not talking about on holiday, I'm not talking about going there for a week or two, doing the tourist thing. I'm talking about spending a majority of your time living amongst locals, spend a month there, get a feel for it. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not for you, but at least experience it. Maybe that's the push that you need to make your move, or maybe that's the check that you need to get you out of feeling like you want to move to a Muslim country. Maybe it's not for you, maybe you won't like it, but at least you've experienced it, at least you've got somewhere to measure it against. But as for me personally, I could never now, living a majority of my last 2 years in Muslim countries, ever think to first invest in the West, have any sort of ties in terms of commitment to the West, have any ambition of raising my family in the West. I am a British citizen. I was born and bred here, got a British passport, never been to Pakistan in my life. Well, my parents are Pakistani though. So at any given chance, if they really wanted to, they can deport me out of the UK to a country I have never been in my life because I'm a second-class citizen in this country. So don't think that you're secure in the native country that you're in. Cool, you've got a passport. That passport's not going anywhere. Don't lose your passport by moving to another country. So that's something that never held me back, and it's something that it definitely shouldn't hold you back. And if you haven't visited a Muslim country, I highly recommend you do so. Go there, breathe in the culture, socialize with the locals, and get a good feel of what it's like living there compared to where you are now. And I promise you, that will also change your life too.